Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
I'm Ryan Osted. Golf is great because it can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to go out and have a competitive 18 holes, you can make it that. If you want to go out and have a scramble and just have the time of your life, if you want to have a charity golf tournament to raise money for some great cause, you can make it that. It is flexible to be whatever you need it to be at that particular moment in your life. And I've needed golf to be different things at different points in my life. And I'm certainly thankful that I was able to learn the game as a kid and continue to play it now as an adult.
Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Koppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting.
But the path to success was not an easy one. And so many aspiring.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back to Strick and Austin Afternoons. I guess that's what we're calling it now. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you officially here for On the Block, brought to you by NEBCO. NEBCO and constructors are hiring for all positions with immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Join the crew today. Be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Laborers' wages start at $23 net based on experience. You can go to nebcoinc.com or constructorslincoln.com to learn more. Big thanks to our friends at Good Sense for Good Sense Fridays today. And Stricky, what you got?
I'm hearing a delay. I'm hearing a delay and echo from you. I don't know. I want to make sure.
Oh, Everything seems to be good on this end so far. I didn't touch anything from the last stream.
Okay.
So,
I think we good.
Okay. We will roll with it if there is a problem.
No, I think we're good now. It was probably on my side. I think it was on my side.
All right, we're back like we never left. Let's just jump right into it here, Strick. Let's go to the NBA. A lot of NBA headlines to get to. We good?
Okay.
NBA headlines.
Hold on. Huh.
I know I didn't touch anything on my end.
Well, hello?
Hello? You got me? Strick, you got me? I'm hearing birds in the background. I don't know. I'll just continue here once Strick catches up. Hopefully he will join me. But Matt Ishbia, new owner of the Suns, after they were eliminated, said of the 29 teams, 26 of them would like to trade places with his Phoenix Suns. Their situation, their talent, the roster that they have in place. I don't know if I believe that. And when I brought that up to Stricky before, he said, Cap, not believing it, not buying it. So, okay, I think Stricky's back. I think we're good. We got you. You're muted now, Stricky.
Okay. I figured
we good?
I had my headphones plugged up to the computer, which was giving me that. This is why I was hearing that feedback instead of to my mic.
Aha. We're good.
Friday. You know what it is. I'm good. We're good.
We're close to the weekend. Pull through. Thank you for working with us. Good thing Stricky's the tech genius over there. Can't spell Strick without IT. Is that right?
Hey, I'm trying. Listen, that's one thing to think about also, because I'm one of those guys that I don't buy new phones. Like, I'm just learning how to edit certain things on Instagram. And it isn't that I want to just stay in a technological, my own little bubble and not expand and get better. It's just that I'm not very big on, I do this because I have to do it really. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be that much on, any type of social media platform. But you got to kind of stay connected and so forth. So I don't buy new phones, Austin. And there was a period, though, that Apple used to try to get me, because what they would do is, you have to do all of these doggone updates, right? They always sending you these updates. And if you don't update it, then you get little bugs and then little bugs. So it's a little thing like that trick. But then your computer or your phone starts getting slow and it don't work the same. And you're like, you little suckers, bro. You're basically forcing me to get, like, I keep this old iPhone 6 and forget going to get a new one every year. But that's just something that's funny, that just based on what you were saying with this IT stuff, I just hate all these updates.
Well, yeah, I think that's a legitimate concept in business nowadays, right? You think about, fridges and freezers and cars, not being made like they used to. They don't last as long. Phones as well. Planned obsolescence, I think, is that, right? They plan to only support this for, 5-6 years. Then they stop pushing the updates, and they obviously technology advances, but they make it so you can't hold on to stuff nearly as long. They reel you in once, then they keep you on the line and keep reeling you closer and closer and closer till, boop, you're the fish. You're caught. You can't do anything except get a new phone.
Yeah, and I think, if I remember correctly, there was a class action lawsuit that was put out to go against this specific, with what you said, those planned rollout. There was something, I think, that went out there, and I'm hoping they won, because I'm tired of having to buy new ones. I do need a new one now because my screen is cracked. And then that's another thing. I have 2 iPads, MacBooks, right? One of them went out, and it was the doggone screen. And I went to try to say, okay, let me get the screen so I can use it, or transfer my stuff or whatever the case may be. They said the doggone cost of it, Austin, was going to be just as much as for me to go buy a new one.
How?
I'm like, what? Yeah, so that's when I'm like, all right, I'm done with y'all. I mean, I got the computer still sitting in there. I just refuse to go and pay dang near what it would cost me to go buy a new phone or a new MacBook. I just refuse to do it.
No, that's just smart business sense, right? Why would you pay to keep the old thing when you can get a new thing that's supposedly just as good, if not better? But I want to shout out our friends here at the station, Computer Hardware. They have saved my bacon more times than ever. And this goes to, okay, maybe it was my fault because they found a few crumbs in there. Like I eat around my laptop all the time, whatever. But when I first started college, Strick, I got a MacBook that was different from every other model year. What they did was a cord that normally ran horizontally, they ran vertically. So it came detached more easily and my trackpad stopped working. I took it into Computer Hardware like 5 or 6 times in the span of just a few months. And they're like, yeah, we see this issue with only this version of MacBooks. Out of the blue, they decided to change the way this one cord ran and it would disconnect and make me think my freaking laptop was broken.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into it, man, shout out to A1 Automotive. Thanks to those guys and the wonderful work that they continue to do over there. Kendall Warnock and his crew is phenomenal. I let them take care of all my car. And the reason is I was talking to a friend of mine about that earlier and how it's better to do the maintenance early, even though you're going to have to pay the cost. But gosh darn it, if you let it go and then the cost later is going to be way worse. So shout out to A1 Automotive as well as the meal. I'm not there to partake today. The meal coffee is absolutely phenomenal. But the beautiful thing about the meal, you can come down and sit outside on a beautiful day like today.
That part.
And you can partake in Thirsty Thursday. They got wine, all the goodies you want to take now. So just come over, sit outside, open up your computer, shout out to the mill. They're a wonderful place to be as well because we're attached to it.
Oh, amen to that. They got the wine. They got the coffee and cream ale for the good beer that they brought in. Let us sample. Yeah, come down 11th and 1040 O Street. Check that out. Come say hi to us as well, right? If you're here and you want your picture taken, we'll take a picture, throw it up on social media. You can be a celebrity for a day. It's pretty great. On the text line, thanks to Starter Heyman for that, 402-464-5685. I don't know if this is from Dirty Tony or one of his boys. He says, my basement beer fridge from 1985 is still working like a charm, but my new fridge has broken down 3 times. Right. Old fridges, old freezers, there's no cookies, there's no bells and whistles, there's no touch screens, no lights or anything like that. It's just put food in, it gets cold. And that's it. Why do we need touch screen entertainment fridges, Stricky? Like, just keep my food cold. That's all I need. Period.
That's it. Just keep my food cold. I don't need all the bells and whistles. You know, they got the stuff now that they got pictures and there's all types of little gifts and stuff that go on the screen, and they tell you, no, I don't need all that. Just keep it cold. Let's move on.
Speaking of bells and whistles, the Phoenix Suns have the bells and whistles covered, but nothing else. Their general manager, I think, is that still James Jones, I think is still there. The owner, Matt Ishbia, was saying that he thinks 26 of the 29 teams in the NBA would trade places with the Phoenix Suns. At the end of happy hour, you said that's cap, and I tend to agree. There's an article from Uprocks that went through every team in the NBA. Would they trade places with the Suns? And I think we know the teams that wouldn't. Your Bostons, your Denvers, even Golden State to some degree. Orlando probably not trading with them. Here are a couple of the options, though, Strick, that I want your thoughts on. Would they trade places with Phoenix? What about the Charlotte Hornets? Stuck in mediocrity for so long, lost their big stars in Anthony Davis and Chris Paul a while back. They haven't been able to really ever take that next step as a franchise. Would Charlotte right now trade places, swap franchises with the Phoenix Suns?
They'd be happy about it because they'll get into the playoffs. You know, one of the things about Charlotte right now, obviously, I think there's been bad mismanagement. One of the best drafts that they've had. Now, I'm talking about the recent Charlotte Hornets. I'm not talking about the old Charlotte Hornets going even way back because they did really well, you know, especially in the, they were part of the expansion draft. I mean, they drafted Larry Johnson. They were able to acquire Alonzo Mourning. And they had good runs there. I'm not talking about that Charlotte Hornets. The new Charlotte Hornets, yes, one of the things that they do have is they have 17 picks that are available to them. So, between now and 2030. That's what they're going to have. The issue with that is not knowing what they're going to have to build on. I think you might consider one thing. I think you leave Durant alone. Let Durant sit until his time is over with, because I think, at this point, everywhere he's gone has been everywhere. It's been a failure. So what you've seen, though, Austin, in the midst of this, and it's a quick, just real quick. Let me just throw this out there, because I think it'll speak to all the other situations that we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. We've seen in the collegiate era, we've seen teams go from the building blocks and the foundations of seniority, keeping, growing, training, developing, and becoming great. That keeps those make your teams be consistently good. You've seen even those Rasheed Wallaces, the Carters, a lot of them play multiple years in the college ranks before jumping. The reverting back to the one and done. And then you saw a lot of these collegiate teams jump on board. Now stop there. We're going to take that to the NBA version. You saw the NBA in a similar light go from, having one star and building around them, right? Maybe 1.5, 2 at most. Allen Houston, I think 1-1. MJ Scotty, Morning, and Larry Johnson, Shaq, Kobe. Let's see who else.
Steve Amari,
Duncan, David Robinson, Barkley. No, but KJ was actually good back then. Kevin Johnson was actually an all-star. So, we could go along the lines and talk about, how it was usually one, or it was a collective of solid players that made the team great. Okay. Then you get into the big three. Guess who started that? Your boy, LeBron. LeBron James started the big three era when he shot down to Miami. Now, it was fool's gold. It was false. You thought it was good. They won a few championships out of it, but it had everybody thinking that was the new model. And guess what? Kyrie, it kind of worked in Cleveland. It worked in Cleveland. So it worked in a couple of instances, but KD tried it. Now everybody's trying and they're seeing it's a failure. This is where we are right now. We're stuck in, guys are getting locked in this where the collective bargaining agreement and the salary caps don't make it viable for it to happen. And now this is where Phoenix is unstuck. So if I'm Charlotte, I did all that just because I wanted to get to that point about how these shifts happen, and when they don't pan out, they've got to figure out a way. If I'm Charlotte, I might go for Booker. If I'm Charlotte, I might go for Booker.
Do you pair him with LaMelo or give him up?
Yes. I just go for Booker. I go for Booker. I use a lot of my draft capital, maybe trade him. It's a very guard heavy. And then I try to find a very manageable center, somebody who can give me some work. I don't care if he looks like Jokic, but if he can get buckets like Jokic, go get him. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. What about Detroit? The Pistons. Cade Cunningham, supposedly the league dog out there, but Detroit's really been stuck on that treadmill.
They're young. I think they have a moderate amount of assets. They're still pretty young. And if I'm them, I don't want to add salary and stuff to that. They have about 15 picks that are coming in the next few years. I like their young talent. Cade Cunningham, Asur, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Dort, solid. But one addition, but that can come out of a draft. That can come out of there's some good picks that are coming up, especially some players. And if I'm Denver, I'm just riding it out and hoping maybe I can land Wembanyama's brother.
Ooh, okay. I see you.
I'm waiting it out.
My favorite option for a team that
they say he's a beast. They say he's him. Yeah.
Not 7-4, but still balling. My favorite option, though, Strick, is the Washington Wizards. And I don't just say this because his DP's here and he can't come up and fire me for saying the Wizards. You know Ted Leonsis really likes Bradley Beal, didn't want to trade him, but ultimately did. You also know every time there's a Kevin Durant discussion, it's does KD want to go home? If you're Washington, do you give up a lot of your assets to bring Beal back and get KD home finally and see if you can't, snag the 4 seed in the East?
At this point, if you want to do it, the East is pretty weak. Is it going to how is it going to measure up with him and Kuzma, or are you going to send Kuzma that way? If I'm Washington at this point, for anything for Durant, I'm not giving up an overhaul. We see what that looks like. Like, if you're not a smart GM at this point to see what it's looked like, both in Brooklyn was able to wiggle out of it because of what they were able to do. They were able to start a younger core. None of that core in Brooklyn is star quality. So but they've got those good pieces to build off of. Okay. I wouldn't give up the ghost for Durant because he hasn't showed me he can take me anywhere beyond a certain round with what he's got. Right? Like, right. I'm just being real. Okay, yes, you know that they only played 16 games in Brooklyn together. Him, the Beard, and Kyrie. We understand that, but we saw just how devastated the organization was. Now you go down here, he's devastated it. He's shown that even Golden State could win without him. So you've got a lot of these dynamics. I wouldn't give up the house for him, but if you want to give him to me on the love, maybe a little bit, I might think about it. It's going to put seats. It's going to put some money in the pocket because they're going to buy some seats. But other than that, he's not going to take me nowhere.
No.
Not at this point of his career.
Not by himself and not with that many big salaries trying to come alongside of him. It just hasn't happened for KD since he was just a guy on the team, right? Who took over in some moments in Golden State. But other than that, I mean, he was the guy in Oklahoma City, should have been, but Russ thought he was the guy too. So they went back and forth. KD wasn't in the background in Golden State, but that's Steph's team and his organization. And ever since then, KD's tried to be the guy. And Strick, he's just not that guy. And that's fine, but he's got to stop the act.
Yeah. I think KD needs to go to some place like Dallas or where you've got two guys and you're a killer third, option. You know what I'm saying? But I personally think Dallas should make a fight for Klay Thompson. I'm just being just to let Klay. People I laugh and I giggle about the fact that I could give you a good 5-10 minutes just standing in the corner. And now I think I could do that. But gosh darn it, Klay Thompson's better than me at a guy who can make 11 buckets and then, almost a 50 ball off of not one dribble. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let that man stand in the corner. Let Luka Magic and Kyrie, break down, shake down, break down, teach. You reach, he teach, drop you off, and just let him rain from downtown.
Yeah.
3 ball in the corner pocket. I mean, that's if I'm that. And look, I would have said KD, but KD to me is more of a liability. I don't think Dallas's defense is super hot, but I think they collectively, with Lively and those guys in the back now, I think they play pretty good defense to where a guy, it wouldn't hurt Klay and he wouldn't have to chase as much as he's doing right now.
Right. And Luka's not a stopper, but he's gotten better. Kyrie's not a stopper, but he's gotten better. I really like the look of that. Another team that could be in on the Klay Thompson sweepstakes, whatever that looks like, the Los Angeles Lakers, but they'll be doing it with a new head coach. Let's take a break. I want Strick's reaction to Darvin Ham being fired by the Los Angeles Lakers. Where do the Lakers go from here, and who is making this decision? How much does that matter? More NBA talk in hour one of On the Block right after this.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon reminding you to vote for my friend and colleague, Carolyn Bozin. Carolyn Bozin is a strong voice for Lincoln who we need representing us in the legislature. Carolyn Bozin voted for historic funding for education to support our schools and for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Carolyn Bozin is the voice we need representing us in the legislature. This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon. Join me in supporting Carolyn Bozin for legislature on May 14th.
Paid for by Bozin for legislature.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Sick of being upsold at gyms?
My guy, you're currently a base member? For $90 more, I can upgrade you to our Shred membership. For $130 more, you'll be a Swole member. And for just $300 more, you'll reach Sweat Platinum.
At Planet Fitness, you'll get energy without the upsell. Never pushy, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. It's fitness that fits your budget. Join Planet Fitness for just $1 down and $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, May 10th. See Home Club for details.
There are over 1,000 kids in Cedars care today. We're here to ensure that each of them receives safety and stability they deserve. But we need your help. A gift to Cedars will make an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further with the available matching funds. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincolnday.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln kids today.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through May 7th is buy one, get one free on New York strips, limit 4 per visit. Also $1 off all brands of honey. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you ready to take your seating season to the next level? Now's your chance with Landmark Implement's early order program. Don't miss out on the best deals of the season on new John Deere air seeders and drills, including the N500C Central Commodity System. Experience the ease of operation with the new N500C's intuitive design, simplifying your seeding process and saving you valuable time in the field. Lock in the largest cash discount, snag the best financing rate, and ensure availability on a new drill. Contact your local Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the block. Yeah. Let's go to the text line here real quick here.
Okay, I'll show you right.
I decided to
Stricky.
wait.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're back on the block. Stricky, you with me? You with me? We good? Okay. Let's go to the text line here real quick. We have Mark in Walton asks on the KD thing real quick. Where does KD get a statue of him put up? It's in Oklahoma City, so make a return there. Do you like KD back to OKC or not?
I'd hate for him to go in there and mess up that chemistry. It just depends. I'd have to have a real good conversation with KD. as opposed, listen, Shea is him. Chet is him. If you're willing to come in here, because here's the problem. Here's what you haven't had. It was tough for Allen Iverson. At first, it was tough for Melo. Anytime you've been to that pinnacle and you're that level, and here's why I say it like this, because when I retired, I still felt I could do something. I still felt I could go. Even if I go out there right now, there's a part of me in my mind that says I can go, but then my body says no, no, no. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with KD, he's a tremendous talent. He can be great, but don't feel you have to be him. But here's the problem. The problem is this, Austin. He hasn't been him to where there's been success. So if OKC wins, guess what they're going to say? It's just like it was when he was in Golden State. He went out there and, it's Shea and it's Chet's team, but he was the third whip. But they got a championship. What does that mean? He don't want to hear that. That's why I don't think it happens.
Makes perfect sense to me. Let's go out to LA. The Lakers officially fired Darvin Ham today. We've been hearing rumblings of this for a while. Of course, whenever the Lakers struggle, the coach is on the hot seat. In 2 full seasons, Darvin Ham, 90 wins out of 164 games, above 500 both years. But in the play-in tournament, each of the last 2 years as well, I think we all saw this coming here, Strick. But to me, the next move for the Lakers is going to tell me a lot about how this franchise views itself. If it goes out and it gets a big-name coach, they're going to go after stars again. They're going to do everything to bring LeBron back and run it back. I kind of want to see them go for someone maybe under the radar, a guy that they want to learn and grow into the role to give them time to rebuild that franchise, right? They've been caught in that loop we talked about earlier this week. I think the next coaching hire for the Lakers is one of the biggest and most important decisions that Buss or Pelinka will ever have made in their careers.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not. But I'm going to say something that's going to maybe accentuate what you just said. All right. They made a mistake the first time. So this is just the compounding of the mistake that they made the first time. Here's why. They didn't want this can even go back to Phil Jackson. They didn't want to pay Phil. See, the Lakers have like I'm trying to find the right words for it. They have like a haughtiness about them because we're the Lakers. You just want to be here type of mentality, right? You just should just get. It's very similar to what Reinsdorf used to have, Jerry, up in Chicago, where he thought it was him. He didn't think it was MJ. He didn't think it was Coach Phil. He didn't think it was none of them. It was him. The Lakers are kind of like that. So here's the issue. They had 2 options. One of the options was Frank Vogel. The other option was a man by the name of Tyronn Lue. Those who are listening should know who that man is. He's former Husker, right? So Tyronn Lue and the organization were, far apart as far as the paperwork decision. So they decided to go with Frank Vogel. So Frank is good, but he didn't have the gravitas to handle LA. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have that moxie and they would have been smart to go with Tyronn. He played with the Lakers. He's familiar with he knows the expectation and what they have. So why did the Lakers lose the last 2 years, Austin? They had a coach that was fresh out, inexperienced. The adjustments that were made, you heard Anthony Davis say in an interview that we don't know what we're doing out there. There's a little bit of misconceptions. He goes nuts for over 30 and then he doesn't see the ball. But guess who? Mike Malone is a phenomenal coach and he made adjustments. So instead of where they were working Jokic, instead of doing that, they switch him to Hachimura. So they're doing in-game adjustments that your boy wasn't able to pick up on. How did I know that? Because he's sitting in a huddle they're ready to try to get something going. He can't even draw up a play. He just wrote names on the board.
He's flipping the clipboard around, trying to figure out which way to write.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and look, I'm not coming down on Darvin Ham. We came in the same year. I got love for him. I'm just saying he just got out-coached. Look, you said something, though. You said bring in a big name. I don't know if I like that. Here's why. Philly's dealing with that right now. That's a big name.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Rivers, big name, won a championship, all of that. So I don't know if that even matters. I think who they get matters. It's got to be somebody. If you want to retain LeBron James, it's got to be somebody respects. That's Tyronn Lue. I don't know what his contract situation is. It could be tampering. You might have to trade for him, but you don't got trade capital. So I don't see that happening. I don't know who's out there that can make that happen. So we'll see how where it goes from here.
Shams Charania with The Athletic tweeted out the firing of Darvin Ham and also threw out 4 names as possible candidates that his Lakers sources are telling him they'll at least take a look at. Ty Lue, if he becomes available, is one of them. We talked about that. I think he makes sense for all the reasons you said. The other 3, Mike Budenholzer, Kenny Atkinson, and JJ Redick, who's been interviewing with Charlotte. That's not just an eye roll, Stricky. That is a neck roll. That is a head roll. That is a you about fell out of your seat move there. And I'm with you on JJ Redick. That one makes no sense to me at all.
No, Sid. That would be like going to get Rex Chapman.
Bring Reggie off the bench, right?
Well, that would be a move because he's a Rich Paul fan. He's a Clutch Sports fan. He's a LeBron fanboy. And so, yeah, he'd be a LeBron yes man, and LeBron wants to coach. And so, therefore, get a coach that'll let him do what he do. So, yeah, I could understand why they would want JJ Redick.
What about like a Budenholzer?
I just don't know if he would get that they would respect him. You see Anthony Davis right now looking funny-eyed when now I think it would be better than because he's pretty good. Again, you got to understand coaching is managing. It's coaching, but it ain't. It's respect. Now, if you do bring in Budenholzer, you need to bring in somebody that that there's respect. And I'm not saying this, but I would say somebody like Nick Van Exel. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like where he's been a Laker, he knows what it means to be. He can look you in the face and say, "Hey, mother," you know what I'm saying? You ain't where you supposed to be. Don't be trying to, get accountable. He'd be able to check some people because he's played the ball at that level. You know what I mean? So if you do if Budenholzer is somebody or somebody like him, he needs to bring somebody that's going to be a strong advocate side, assistant that can be able to get in the ear of some of the players.
And that's why Kenny Atkinson doesn't make sense to me as a head coach.
Yeah.
He seems like a developmental guy that I wouldn't hate for the Lakers necessarily, but he hasn't had that top level success. If you tell me Kenny Atkinson is an assistant for the next guy on the Lakers, I still think they need help in the player development realm. I think Kenny Atkinson would be good there. But Strick, outside of Tyronn Lue, that initial list doesn't really move me. And it feels like the Lakers are just kind of throwing names out there just to throw names out there.
Facts. You with that situation, and this is why I think Tibbs is having success. A lot of people when Tibbs was in Chicago were trying to buck the system. You see what I'm saying? And so Tibbs was having headbutts with guys within the system. He goes out to New York. He stays his course. He's like, you're going to get in line. But he was able to acquire Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson becomes your leader. Jalen Brunson's dad's on staff. They were in New York before because he was assistant under Van Gundy even when I was there. And Brunson was there then. So they understand the culture. They've been there before. New York makes more sense for them, but he's not getting the butt of heads, and he's able to bring in the kind of guys that fit the mold. This is why he's having success. You're going to need somebody like that. Somebody that's going to be able to come in, look at LeBron and say, nah, bro, I love you, I want to win, but there's no dictations over here. You know, you either get in, buy in, or get the hell on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need somebody, but who that is, I think the only one that can handle that, because he had Jedi mind trick Yoda style over LeBron, and that's Teron.
Mm-hmm. Someone brought that up on the text line. 6008 said, didn't Lou already get fired once trying to coach LeBron? That was just a weird situation with LeBron looking to leave and everything going on with Teron. I think he made the better move for him in heading out to the Clippers. And that to me is maybe the biggest point here. Do the Lakers want to keep LeBron, right? It sounds like he's going to opt out. He's got a player option for this offseason. If I'm LeBron, the power move to me is to opt out of that and make the Lakers try to get in a bidding war for me again. But if I am happy in Los Angeles, I wait to opt in until I know they have a coach in place that I've had a say on. And I don't know if Pelinka or Buss will. Obviously, they have to give LeBron some sort of say. They have to listen to him to some degree, unless they're not going to keep him and they run their own search and they loop him in at the end, which is, again, Strick, we talk about, KD maybe needing to fade into the background, be okay being the third option. That's where I think LeBron needs to get to as well mentally, where he can still be a top 15 player in the league, top 10 on any given night. But LeBron needs to cede a lot of his decision-making power, let the organization run itself, and he just has to focus on basketball, not all this other stuff that keeps getting in the way, I think, in some instances of his teams, being able to be more successful.
So you've got three dynamics working against the Lakers right now. One, you've got pretty much the same team with some additions that you thought can get you there. So you have to either decide on if you're going to or if you can upgrade at the point guard position, which is D'Angelo Russell. Well, really, Austin Reeves is pretty much the one that handles a lot of that outside of LeBron. So, okay, between those three, you need to find somebody there that's able to fill that spot. Okay, if you do that, then you still might have something. The second option is to allow LeBron to vacate. You're going to basically say AD's our guy, which he is. He's shown improved outside of the injuries and the little soft cottonelle stuff that he does from time to time where he bows out. But for the most part, he's still him. But the problem still is they don't have any answers right now for Denver. Yep. So they need to figure out how they can upgrade their roster to mix and mingle. But actually, it's really not that far off. We saw that in the games. I think the games they lost was just coaching. So this is why the coach is important. Because I think if they had a coach that could make adjustments, make changes, understand roster moves and win and timings and all of that stuff, I think they have enough to beat Denver. They were there. But Denver's just well coached, have great adjustments, and they got guys that down the stretch are solid. And that's how they were able to win out.
We will keep talking NBA here in just a little bit. We've got a short segment to end off hour one. I want to switch gears to the NFL. A lot of you guys chiming in here on the text line. Jordan P., Mark and Holland, a few unknown numbers, and our guy Dan from Canopy Street Market. Really appreciate you guys all for being a part of the discussion. Keep those thoughts coming. We'll get back to the NBA shortly after 3. 2 big-name signings. Which one will be better for their team? Zeke Elliott with the Cowboys? Odell Beckham Jr. with the Dolphins. I want Strick's opinion on that to wrap up hour one of On the Block in just a minute. Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy too with an afternoon high around 74. Tonight, showers and storms are likely with a low around 48. And tomorrow, a few lingering showers and storms in the morning, then partly sunny skies for the afternoon with a high around 64. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clutton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. I think my first memory of golf is playing with my dad at a par 3 course. It was an absolute blast, and he always would have an ice cream hole. So if I got an 8 or less, we'd be going for ice cream. My first memory of golf really focused on driving the golf cart, being able to drive that cart. You were a crazy driver. I was a crazy driver, but it was what I look forward to. And what's really funny now, when I take my kids out play golf, that is the one thing, along with the snack bar, that they are most excited about. Focus on the good stuff. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Soulful Casino in Havelock is a family-owned business, providing incredible food and service that'll have you craving more with every bite. Soulful Casino offers everything from pulled pork to fried chicken, catfish, ribs, and even quesadillas. You want sides? They've got them. From fries, green beans and baked beans, to collard greens, potato salad, and sweet dill corn. Stop by for lunch as they have specials Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. That's Soulful Casino, located in Havelock, where every bite you take fills the soul.
Far too many kids in our community face extreme challenges due to homelessness, abuse, and neglect. Despite the troubles these kids face, we believe in them. Believe in giving them the safety and stability they deserve. Your gift on Give to Lincoln Day will help us provide services to meet kids where they're at, while also showing them how far they can go. Please make your gift to Cedars on Give to Lincoln Day.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. One final segment in hour one of On the Block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you, brought to you by Nebco. 2 high-profile signings in the NFL. Zeke Elliott goes back to the Cowboys. Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Miami Dolphins. Stricky, which one of those signings do you like more?
Man, that's a tough one, Austin, because here's the thing, man. I don't even know if Odell Beckham wants to play football. I mean, he hasn't been good. He hasn't been relevant. Now, I think Zeke has looked good. I think he's a good backup option. I don't think, obviously he's not the same. We knew that when he just wasn't able to hit the holes the way that they were, right? In the NFL game, the holes are there, but for a split second. And this is why Pollard initially had success, but now the line is decimated. It's not the same. I don't think he's going to have the same impact. I like the pick for different reasons than probably most, not necessarily on the field. I like it for the fact that Zeke has done a tremendous job playing with the Cowboys. It's good to get him back. If he leaves the game and retires, you would hope that he would do so as a Cowboy. That's why I personally like. I just don't think Odell Beckham has been relevant. I like that you can get him on the cheap, but we've shown that him being even the third guy in the rotation, he just still hasn't had success. He hasn't done anything. Now we know he's had some injuries too, So that, we know the effect that injuries can have on the body, especially at that position where there's a lot of stopping, a lot of going. You're on turf. So I get it, but yeah, I would say more Ezekiel for success on the field than Odell on the field, if that's what you're asking me about.
Yeah, I think Dallas did a good job in getting a deal on Zeke, right? They didn't want to pay him everything the first time. They let him walk. He goes to New England for a year. Stricky, Zeke's only going to make $2 million guaranteed with $1 million in incentives. Compare that to Odell Beckham Jr., who's getting $8.25 from Miami. And I'm worried about him in Miami, right? He's not the young guy he was before, but you introduced Miami. I'm a little concerned about that there, Stricky.
Yeah, ODB. No, let me be quiet. OBJ. OJ. Odell
OBJ.
Beckham. OBJ. I don't know, man. It's real zesty down there in Miami. Let me just say that.
maybe too zesty.
A little too. I don't know, man. Yeah, if he didn't want to play football now, in places where you could literally just focus on the game, like I will personally say, I'm gonna be honest with you right now, Austin. In my free agency, I had multiple options. One of them was Seattle, one was Miami, and one was Milwaukee. And I went and did a try. I was injured at the time, so it wasn't, they knew that, and I wasn't able to really be myself. And listen, when you go down and you play for a Pat Route, you better be in shape. Like, don't go down there like half stepping and think you're gonna be wore out. Like, that's how bad it was. But I'm glad that it happened, because that might not have been a good look for me at that time in Miami. I was able to go up to Milwaukee, work on my game, focus. It's cold. You want to be inside. Miami's a mother. And my boy says about played down there. I've had some good friends. I remember I used to go down there and we would be playing, and I get with Rodney Buford back then. Rodney Buford, who played at Creighton. And yeah, it's a problem.
And that's tricky. And you're no OBJ. So
and I'm not him.
If he's taking it to another level. Yeah, I'm curious.
And that's back in the day. Back in the day, it was still fun, but it's wow down there now. Like, no.
305.
I'm glad I didn't even play for the Marlins. I'm glad.
Save that for Edgar Renteria, your boy.
Yeah, that part.
That's awesome. Let's go to break here. Let's get back to the NBA Eastern Conference. Couple of big questions that I think need to be answered here in hour two. Who has the bigger task ahead of them for next season? Is it Milwaukee? Is it Philadelphia? And then are we overlooking Jalen Brunson still, or is there still more for him to prove? He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket, brought to you by Nebco. Hour two, next.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history, and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Far too many kids in our community face extreme challenges due to homelessness, abuse, and neglect. Despite the troubles these kids face, we believe in them. Believe in giving them the safety and stability they deserve. Your gift on Give to Lincoln Day will help us provide services to meet kids where they're at, while also showing them how far they can go. Please make your gift to Cedars on Give to Lincoln Day.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, May 4th versus Columbus Fury at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour, every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. I think my first memory of golf is playing with my dad at a par 3 course. It was an absolute blast, and he always would have an ice cream hole. So if I got an 8 or less, we'd be going for ice cream. My first memory of golf really focused on driving the golf cart, being able to drive that cart. You were a crazy driver. I was a crazy driver, but it was what I look forward to. And what's really funny now, when I take my kids out play golf, that is the one thing, along with the snack bar, that they are most excited about. Focus on the good stuff. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
The song says go west, young man, but we're going east. A lot to get to from the Eastern Conference playoffs. Still one series left to go. Could be decided tonight between Cleveland and Orlando. We'll maybe look ahead at that, but really want to focus on the two series that wrapped up last night, Milwaukee and Indiana, as well as New York and Philadelphia. We'll get to that in a sec, but first, got to thank Nebco for sponsoring On the Block. Really appreciate them and all they do for our show. Nebco's operations span the state of Nebraska. They supply the construction industry with the materials needed to construct buildings, streets, and highways. They're a fourth-generation, family-owned and operated business since 1908 with over 1,200 employees and 26 companies throughout Nebraska. Check them out at nebcoinc.com. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you. Strick, let's dive into this Milwaukee-Indiana series first. We both felt very confident in Indiana being able to finish the series, slam the door, and they did. They win going away 120-98 over the Bucks last night. Where does Milwaukee go from here? What's the next step? Do they keep Doc around? Are there any moves they can make to shape up the roster? My worry for Milwaukee is that they say, oh, well, Giannis and Dame were hurt, so we'll run it back next year and not make any changes.
One of the weirdest dynamics that I think we're dealing with is the excuse era. And, to hear in multiple instances on some podcasts and interviews that Doc, even before his hiring, was basically making statements saying, like, why would you choose me? Like, there was a lack of confidence. And I venture to say that I just come from a standpoint, both biblically as well as just life and being a business owner and all of this, that success of your company, success of your organization, success of your business, success in school as a teacher with your students, whatever it is, it comes from the head. The leadership, it trickles from the head to the body to the skirt. It's a heads up thing. I don't care if it's the United States of America, from the presidency on. Yes, the presidents don't make, so then you got to go to leadership in whatever branch it's going to be in there. The craziness, it starts with leadership, right? So when you have a lack of confidence, when you have a lack of assertiveness, when you don't truly even believe in yourself and the questioning why it is that a coach, and then having the ownership basically say, well, it's done now, that's scary in itself. So when you look at the team, this team, I don't know that you would let the coach go in 1 year. I don't think you can. I think it's just an unfortunate situation. It's laden with excuses that are built in, Austin. You feel what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is you really can't fault him because your best player was absent, Giannis. Then in the midst of a playoff series, when it really counts, your next best player gets injured. So there's a lot of built-in excuses. So to let him go in that, I still think is underlying. I still think there's problems. And the only place that they can go from here is try to unearth themselves from some of the problems that they have by holding on to certain players for too long. That's Chris Middleton, where you're not able to remove him. You're not able to get rid of him. You're not fully long-term stuck with Brook. And I don't have a problem with Brook. You need somebody there. Bobby Portis is a pretty good fill-in guy. But outside, I would say there's six. Do you really believe in Pat Bev? I think he gives you an element, but no, Pat Connaughton really hasn't been the same since a playoff run. It looks very much like Austin Crozier situation to me. But yeah, I think you just try to go and continue to build in some fillers. Maybe some of that mid-level fat. Try to get rid of some of that, maybe in a trade. But there's really not much assets that they have. Probably the only asset is tradable, I think, is because he's got a burner on him, and that's Malik Beasley.
But that's really all he offers is that shooting. He didn't step up much on defense. Jay Crowder, Supposed to bring toughness, 3-and-D type of guy. Didn't really show a whole lot. Didn't really love that for them. Strick, on the low, Milwaukee hasn't drafted that well over these last few years. You look at their rotation, and Connaughton had his run. He's fallen off. Andre Jackson Jr., I kind of like that pick. Marjon Beauchamp, I guess we'll see. But they haven't supplemented their superstar with young talent, right?
Then you got Thanasis.
He's a problem too, because Strick, just like we're talking about with
the roster spot.
Yes, the Bucks are not in a position where they can waste a roster spot. They need to have a living, breathing NBA body on there, not a guy who never plays, and when he does, turns it over 3 times every 2 minutes. I don't understand what Milwaukee's doing. Being so bad in the draft has hurt them, and I don't think we're talking about that enough. It's not just that they have all their cap tied up in Middleton and Giannis and Brook Lopez. They could get away with it if they had supplemented the roster by drafting better.
Nothing to come back at you on with that. You're absolutely right.
And even like the veterans they've signed, Crowder, no. Danilo Gallinari, I'm sorry, no. So I'm
all of them are basically the same type of players, Austin. They're all Malik Beasley types. They can shoot, they can do a lot, but they have no defense. And then you don't have defense as well with Dame Lillard now. You gave that away when you traded Drew Holiday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm fascinated to see where Milwaukee goes, because I can see them using those excuses like you're saying that are built in. Oh, we don't have the cap space. Oh, Giannis was hurt. When if that's what they're going to do, okay, enjoy being an okay to solid regular season team and not sniffing the East semis. That's just how it's going to be. And they still have 2 more years of Giannis before he can opt out after this. Now's the time to go all in. If you're going to make a tough choice, you have to, I think, make those moves this offseason. So then in 2 years, you have some groundwork to have a good offseason and make one last run with Giannis before you might have to re-up him.
The problem is they thought that they did that by going and acquiring Dame Lillard. They gave up a tremendous amount of their assets and capital. So I think the best move that they have at this point is get better, look at the model of what OKC has done, and you've got the best ticket and chip on the board, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think you run it with him 1 more year, healthy, check the pulse of what's going on, and then find the best suitor and go get all the capital you can get, trade Giannis, and do a rebuild, because Brook's going to come off, Middleton's going to come off, and you're going to have all types of money. Like, look, the money's not going to be there for you to get people. The money's going to be there to secure the balance, but go find the best types of players and develop them so that you look hopefully like OKC down the road in the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, and if you wait a year, you can trade Middleton and Lopez more easily as expirings because their money will come off of someone's books. But I'm glad you brought up the idea of trading Giannis, Strick, because I think that has to be on the table even this offseason. If it's in your plans to trade him, you will get more value from a team for 2 years of Giannis than 1. I get giving them another shot because you went all in on Dame and Giannis and you want to see it work. But if you're just going to end up trading him, and you can get more for him this offseason than next offseason.
That's if you got big sack.
Right.
Think about you. To do that, you as a GM is putting you're going on a lifeline. Like you're almost flatlining basically yourself. And it isn't that something happened to you, you fell, you had a heart attack. It's that you put the things on yourself and said, and then all of a sudden you flatline. Like that's the risk that you're taking if you're the GM. That's really the risk you're taking, Austin. But if you have big sack to do it, you do it. But like you said, the built-in excuse is going to bring problems to the possibility of doing it, because everybody and their mama's going to be like, are you freaking crazy? They're going to look at you like you're the dumbest idiot on earth. Staff and guess who's got the big excuse? The owner's got the excuse to get rid of your tail and not take the fall for it, even though he was in the conversation. He in there like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah. You out of here.
Well, and it's going to be tough too because a place like Milwaukee has to draft a superstar, right? It can't or sign these guys. It doesn't trade for them very often.
That's why I said OKC.
Right.
Model.
Right. So they did that with Giannis. At least they tried, and then they went all in maybe one time too many instead of, like you said, hitting the eject button, keeping Giannis, and then saying, "Hey, trust in our vision, believe in our plan. We'll still be a good regular season team, but we're building up for another championship run here in a couple years. You're going to put a lot on your shoulders for a year, maybe two, but here's our plan." They didn't do that. The other team in the East that got eliminated last night, the Philadelphia 76ers, Strick, where do they go? Embiid got banged up again, might be dealing with Bell's palsy. It looks like they have something in Tyrese Maxey, but again, it's the role guys around them that were so hit or miss.
Yeah. They found something though, to be honest. I think they found something, a good fit in Kelly Oubre. Now, I can't tell you what his contracts, I haven't looked them up at this time, but I can't tell you what his contract looks like.
He's got, let's see.
He's got what, one more?
I believe so. I'm waiting for Spotrac to load here.
So you have Tobias Harris that's about to exit, which that's a lot of money.
No, he's a free agent right now, Stricky. He's off the book.
There you go. So you probably not going to be able to retain him, being that you've got Embiid, you've got Tyrese Maxey. You would like to retain him if he's willing to take it at a certain price, but he played well enough to give himself a chance to make some good money. Now, if they feel they want to give some of that Tobias Harris money to him, being that he's really looking more like a third guy compared to Tobias Harris, he's about to exit. You've got Kyle Lowry that now, I think you're good with Nicholas Batum. I think you probably want to keep him. I think you can keep Campaign on the low, just as a keeper. You didn't really have and use Buddy Hield that much. He looked good for you. Night. He looked good for you. So, see what that's looking like, and maybe run it with those guys as your core, and see if you can keep everybody healthy and maybe do something on the upcoming years. You're going to probably need another 4, I think. I don't think Nicholas Batum is a long-term 4 for you. But I think he can get you something.
What's the game plan? Do they need 3-and-D guys? Do they need another guy to take the load off of Maxey? What type of player do you think fits around the Maxey Embiid core there in Philly?
Maxey's young. He plays a lot of minutes. I think you don't want to overdo it with him, but he's still young. He can still give you a high workload. But you're going to want another power forward center type of guy to where you don't have to play Embiid in those types of minutes. His body's just it gets banged up, and it's tough to be able to handle that load. You don't want to have to play him. So I think you need a guy that you really feel comfortable that when Embiid goes to the bench, or if he gets hurt or he has to be down, that can give you something on the inside. Maybe a strong power forward, like somebody like, for instance, with the type of athlete. I'm not saying him, but the type of athleticism and abilities like a James Wiseman. Somebody like that who, I would even say an Aiden, but not center, but an Aiden, his body type, but somebody who can at least get you something.
What about like an Isaiah Stewart? Would you trade for him from Detroit?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, why not?
But
I'm just throwing something out. I'm not going to say for sure. I'm just throwing it out. Like I don't have a particular player, but somebody with the likes of it, right?
You mentioned the injuries with Embiid, and talk about, big sack moves, Strick. Embiid's the MVP. He's been, the heart of these Sixers teams. He was the trust the process guy, back 8-10 years ago. If you're Nick Nurse, do you this offseason start the transition process of moving it from Embiid's team to Maxey's team because he's younger, because he has more miles on the legs, and because he's a guard? Or is it still Joel Embiid's team until he leaves Philly?
It's pretty much Joel Embiid's team, probably at least for the next few years.
Okay. Just a thought.
I mean, I see where you're going. I think at some point you need to make the shift. But yeah, that's basically like saying this is Kobe's team when it was really Shaq. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Without Shaq, eventually he was able to do it, but he still needed Pau Gasol. You know what I mean? That's when you knew the shift was good and it was made. But before then, that was Shaq. That was Shaq's team.
Let's go to the text line here real quick at the end of this segment. Twizzlers asks, so let's say the Nuggets win the title and go back-to-back. Is it safe to say that these super teams don't mean much and it's more about building that chemistry between players and believing in the long haul?
Well stated and well said. That's what I was, in essence, that's what I was talking. If you didn't tune in the beginning, go back and check the tape, because that's in essence what I was saying in the beginning when I was talking about the one and dones and the shifts and trying to go to the big threes. And really it's about the core. Like let's be honest, I know we were going to get into it a little bit, and we probably are in this next segment, because we're going to talk about the Jalen Brunson effect. But yes, but it's more than just him, and it's not a big three. That's basically what the formula was in college, now reverting and putting itself into the NBA. A core group of guys know each other, believe in each other, play with each other, and none of them are super big names, but they're giving you big work.
Big work. Let's pick it up after the break right there. Jalen Brunson, overrated, properly rated, underrated. How did the Knicks move past the 76ers? What's in store for them? How far can they go? We'll pick up this discussion on the other side of the break here during On the Block. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
It's the Elway Power Sports Customer Expo, May 10th and 11th. There'll be giveaways and free food, half-price tires, and factory rebates as large as $2,500. Used inventory price to sell, parts and accessory specials too. Register for the John Elway football giveaway and get a chance in the money machine with a new vehicle purchase. Factory and aftermarket reps will be on site for the event. The Customer Expo at Elway Power Sports, May 10th and 11th, just south of I-80 on 27th Street.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. I think my first memory of golf is playing with my dad at a par 3 course. It was an absolute blast, and he always would have an ice cream hole. So if I got an 8 or less, we'd be going for ice cream. My first memory of golf really focused on driving the golf cart, being able to drive that cart. You were a crazy driver. I was a crazy driver, but it was what I look forward to. And what's really funny now, when I take my kids out play golf, that is the one thing, along with the snack bar, that they are most excited about. Focus on the good stuff. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
There are over 1,000 kids in Cedars care today. We're here to ensure that each of them receives safety and stability they deserve. But we need your help. A gift to Cedars will make an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further with the available matching funds. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincolnday.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln kids today.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Mike Minner, what's up, bro?
When you look at Dylan, you're looking at quarterbacks that kind of come around once every 20 years. And this is a kid I'm looking at, I don't know how old he is, 17, 18 years old. And he is already directing things that 17, 18-year-old kids should not even know. Changing the line protection. Okay, guys, I don't know where we've been 2 weeks of practice. Come on, man. Well, we got guys in the National Football League that can't do that.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on a beautiful Friday. I'm in Lincoln, Stricky at the crib. Appreciate y'all being a part of the show on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter streams. Brought to you by Starter Human Jewelers and on the text line, 402-464-5685. Also brought to you by Starter Heyman Jewelers. Big thanks to Allo as well for sponsoring Channel 961 and our Allo Fiber VIP line that we use a good few times a week. Diving back into the NBA here, sticking in the Eastern Conference. Strick, the Knicks only outscore the 76ers by 1 point across the 6 games, but they win the series 4-2. A big piece of that is Jalen Brunson. I know over the last few weeks, we've had discussions about who the next face of the NBA could possibly be. I don't know if I've seen enough from Jalen Brunson to say he's on that list, but if he keeps playing like this, he has the perfect attitude and he's in the perfect market to potentially take over, at least as an option for the NBA, for a guy that they might want to say, hey, go carry our torch for a couple years. Is that fair, or is that out of pocket?
It's out of pocket for you. Like, I'm trying to wonder, like, what have you been seeing over this ain't a one-off. That man's been giving people work all year, right? So I think he deserves to put some respect on his name, right? I think you really do. I think it's got to that point. Here's why. He's one of the most valuable assets in the NBA because he's, what he's paid to do what he's doing and what he's done for a team, getting them to the second seed, in a closeout game, going for 41-12 with only two turnovers, going to the free. And now look, he's shorter than me. Getting to the free throw line 16 times, that's more than what Denver did against the Lakers. And they got Jokic. So all I'm saying is, I think the man, this isn't a one-off. He had a successful run as a number 2 in Dallas. He comes over, is the number 1, and barring bad play, not of his own, bad play from Julius Randle in one year, and other guys not stepping up, but him being and doing and taking and carrying, and they just come up short, not of any fault of his own. I think he's deserving, and this is why I think it's USA Basketball missed the mark, because they could have put this young man in the East paired up with another face, which is Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, who's in the West, and you could have started some promo building for what's to come and start shifting out of and moving away from the LeBron James, Steph Curry, and the Durant era, and start shifting into that. I think they missed the mark, but he's showing and proving. I think they need to start doing some more promoing. He's in a big market, but for whatever reason of their own, they don't believe themselves. And I mean, I've seen it for 2 years now. I'm going to be honest with you though, I didn't believe either, and he's surprised me. So
I think part of my hesitancy is twofold. Number one, the Julius Randle factor. Now, he's been doing it with Randle out for a while. He took the charge and got injured. I think the shoulder injury surgery he had to have. I'm not a huge Julius Randle believer, but I still think until this year, Randle was the bigger name on that team. He had the bigger year earlier. I don't think Jalen Brunson needs Julius Randle, but I still think some people would think, oh, it's Julius Randle's team. Not saying they're right or wrong. The other thing about Jalen Brunson to me, Strick, is Tom Thibodeau. The last superstar player that Tom Thibodeau has had his hands on was Jimmy Butler. That didn't go well, right? They clashed in Minnesota. Before that, it was Tibbs that had Derrick Rose out on the floor, who, probably shouldn't have gotten his knee injured because the player dove into it, but it still happened. I wonder if there's some hesitancy from the NBA just because Tibbs is the head coach. Like, okay, so what's going to happen to his superstar? Because it's gone wrong the last 2 times.
Yeah, it's like you said. I mean, he had those Chicago teams in the top tier with a healthy. They were Rose. First or second with a healthy Jay Rose, and I'm talking about they had a Joakim Noah who couldn't shoot into a barrel if it was sitting right next to him in the driveway. Like, I mean, the guys he had with him. I mean, Taj Gibson,
Luol Deng, Kirk Heinrich.
You know what I mean? He basically got Luol Deng paid because after Luol Deng left there, he showed he wasn't, much of an effect outside of the system of Chicago. So, kudos to him. Kudos to him for that. I still think it's nothing to do with Jalen. The best thing that happened is Jalen's father is there alongside of him, which gives him a little buffer, gives him a little. The best thing they did was the acquisition of Josh Hart and DiVincenzo. The problem that they have is it's not sustainable the way it is now.
Explain.
They don't have a support group. It's looking very much like the old Knicks squads. Yes, they're young now, but he's taking the model in some ways of what Van Gundy used to do, and he only played 6 guys.
Right.
Because if you look at who played, now listen, the acquisition of Anunoby also was huge because he gave you that 3-and-D guy who can guard at any position, and Hart goes and gets you 14 rebounds. So they had guys doing a lot of stuff that were outside of themselves. You and yourself didn't know how Hartenstein was going to be able to handle the matchup with Embiid. Well, I think he was very efficient, giving you 7 out of 13 field goals with 9 rebounds. And, yes, he had 5 fouls, but he used them all. He used them all. And they were able to get a good 18 minutes out of Mitchell Robinson. That was just to basically keep Hartenstein in the game. But they did what they had to do to get to the next level. I personally think they're the best team going forward, but I just don't know if it's sustainable with not having enough play. So if they go into a long one, the best thing that they did was closing this out in game 6, giving them maybe a couple days, but you want to try to get Indiana gone early. If you go deep 6-7 with them, you're not going to have much left in the finals, conference finals.
Right. Probably against Boston, who they still don't know their opponent. We got game 6 tonight between Cleveland and Orlando. Just as a side note, I hope that series goes 7 games. It's been back and forth. It's been pretty entertaining. But back on the Knicks, Strick, I think your point about them only playing and trusting 6 guys leads me to the same thing we said about Milwaukee. New York's got to draft well, or they've got to make the big move and trade Julius Randle, who's turned himself into a useful player who I think could fill some gaps in some teams. But you need to make that move sooner than later, before it's too late. Otherwise, you're stuck in the middle again.
Austin, that's why you're my partner. Because that's exactly what I was saying, my boy. I think I might have said that on I think it made Rico kind of mad about it. Or you might, it was either you or Nick or you were like, what? I'm like, yeah, trade Julius Randle. Like and y'all was looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, yeah, like right now. Right now. Yeah, you were sitting over there kind of quiet. Yeah, you it was either Nick and Rico. I know Rico was like crazy. I'm like, man, y'all, you're crazy. If you think you keep him, you're going to end up like Milwaukee and Middleton.
Right?
So I think you do it now because I think you want to acquire some assets, acquire some draft capital, get something for him, and maybe a couple of role players back. Like, I don't need – you got to match your salary, obviously, right? So you got to do it with probably a couple pieces of draft capital or three-way trade, or you want to match salaries. So this is why I think you go and get a couple. You get a couple players and add some depth to that roster. And it's got to be, I think, in the front court. I personally don't think you want to add in the guard. I think you're pretty solid right there. I think you got some young talent that you could possibly develop and maybe see what they're able to do. But I wouldn't go and try to get any guards. You're good at that position because you can mix match DiVincenzo Hart. You can run a 3-man rotation with that group and you're good. And then throw in Anunoby in there at a 3-and-D, maybe get you a 3-and-D guy with another frontline guy. I think you got some.
I'm also a big believer in Deuce McBride. I loved him at West Virginia, loved watching him. I think he fits the Tibbs style. Probably more confident than he should be, but you kind of need that decent enough 3-point shooter. So I like him as that depth piece at guard. But you can get something for Bogdanović too. Not a lot of miles left on those legs, but if Joe Ingles can get traded and bring back value, I think Bogdanović can too. So if I'm the Knicks, I'm looking at these teams that are, fringe lottery to earlier lottery. Who are the useful 3-and-D guys? Who are the useful secondary guys on those teams? You know that they're going to start tanking around the trade deadline, if not before. Can you flip a Bogdanović? Can you flip a Randall that's coming off the books to get some of these depth guys and make the team sustainable, right? Because you've seen what the Lakers have done. Star hunting hasn't worked out for them. You've seen the Warriors the Bucks get themselves into trouble with all these big salaries. Just because New York wants to go star hunting They have one in Brunson. Resist the temptation and get deeper, not brighter and flashier.
I don't need to say anything else. Facts. I'm going to ask this, though. I'm going to ask this question to you. How do you think somebody like a Scotty Barnes would fit on in that team?
Ooh.
Is he enough of a 3-and-D guy? Is he more of a scoring type of guy? So you don't want to throw him into the mix of a good chemistry of guys that you got right now in your backcourt. So I'm a little. I don't know.
I'm a big Scotty Barnes guy. I love what he's done. He's progressed his first couple years in the league. To me, it would come down to, how does Scotty Barnes view himself? Because I don't think he's as true of a 3-and-D role guy as Anunoby is. I think Anunoby fits that role.
He embraces it
perfectly. I think Scotty Barnes is a slightly taller and skinnier Julius Randle, where he can lock you up. He's probably more versatile defensively. But I also think Barnes is more raw offensively. I think he's got work to do on the jumper. I think Toronto tried him out at point guard because they didn't know what to do. They wanted to see what they had in a rebuilding year. If Scotty Barnes wants to be a star, I think he's misguided. I think the Knicks would be a great fit for him. I think he would be better in New York than RJ Barrett was, because he played in a Florida State team in college with Leonard Hamilton, where it was a deep team. They played a lot of bodies. Scotty didn't get a lot of minutes. He was arguably the best player on the team. His stats might not have reflected that. So if he can tap back into Florida State, Scotty, be a key part of the team, but not the guy with the lights on him, I love him in New York. But if he's bought into, I can be a number one in the NBA because Toronto has told me I can, I'm worried about how that would translate if that's his attitude.
Great point. So therefore, this is where I think then, if that's the case, then you probably want to look very good into the draft, maybe check into the G and see if you can find a gem, and then go out and find a nice solid piece, a versatile big maybe in the draft.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up this list of free agents. We touched on it yesterday, the guys that are going to be available. Do you go get like a Nick Claxton for front court help?
I think with that group, you need you see what Hartenstein was able to do, just in the pick. I think you want a guy. I don't think Nick Claxton has the touch. I think he's good on the defensive side. I don't know if he has that kind of good, just space and feel around the basket on the pick and roll game, because you have to have a special kind of feel, because Brunson does a good job of hipping people and crossing over. And what's the guy's name that they actually called a pick and roll scheme for him? He used to roll and he would roll into the player where it would allow guys to get to the back.
Gortat, Marcin Gortat.
Gortat. Somebody like Gortat.
Mm.
Like who just got a good feel on the pick and roll game, knows where to get to, knows where to stop, know where to go. Just a heady big man like that. I'm not saying Gortat. I'm just saying somebody like that who's got that heady feel.
On that front, Hartenstein is a free agent. But so is Jonas Valanciunas. Are you interested in him at all over Hartenstein, or would you rather bring Hartenstein back?
Who's younger?
I believe Hartenstein is.
I would stay with Hartenstein.
Okay.
Because you got a nice young core. Right. He gets it. He knows how to play. I would stay with him if I could do it.
Kelly Olynyk?
I don't know if he's athletic enough.
Okay.
Hartenstein's got a little bit of athleticism to him. He can jump. He can leap. I don't think Kelly. He's heady. He is heady. He's got good touch. As a additional piece, but I still think if you lose Randall, you're looking for a plug piece. I don't know if Olynyk's that plug type of piece that is going to fill that spot.
Here is my last off the wall idea. I need to make sure that this checks out before I throw it out there. Okay. Pascal Siakam, free agent.
I need to see more tape on how he's playing these days.
he's fit in behind Halliburton. He hasn't taken over. He's played that 3.
I think he will fit. I think he will fit. His body's gotten a little bigger, so I would need to put a little bit more eyes on him just to before I could definitively say to you, my partner, that I think that fits. I'd like to put a little bit more eyes on him just to see. But I like the idea. I like the thought of it.
Fair enough. That's the last name from that list that I thought. I'm curious to see, because the Knicks have an opportunity to sustain something that they really haven't, for a long time. And Strick, in our last segment, I'm going to need you to walk me through Knicks Pacers history. I know there's a lot there from the 90s and the 2000s. Let's take a little trip down memory lane. Let's talk Knicks and Pacers, because that's the second round matchup to end out on the block here after this.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, May 4th, versus the Columbus Fury at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the Next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Tito's on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular price athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
There are over 1,000 kids in Cedars care today. We're here to ensure that each of them receives safety and stability they deserve. But we need your help. A gift to Cedars will make an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further with the available matching funds. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincolnday.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln kids today.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You guys talk about songs that you love. Is there a song that you absolutely loathe in this world?
Oh, there is, and I can't think of them right now.
I'm just picking Ozzy Osbourne song.
I despise with all my being Benny and the Jets by Elton John. I hate that song. Jersey Mike's or Chick-fil-A.
Chick is good. Jersey Mike's, I'm going to say it'd be 90th.
Come on,
90th.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here during On the Block. Stricky's jamming out. Stricky, one segment till the weekend. What's on tap for you? Chill weekend?
Chill weekend, wine weekend. I got it in there. I'm about to go. I did partake in Thirsty Thursday. You had that good white wine you took home with you. It was enjoyable. Shout out to Kevin Myers Cork and Bottle. Yes, sir. He always takes good care of us. But I'm sipping on the wine, chilling, watching some. I'm gonna check out some games, some good and interesting games that'll be on, and hopefully the sun will come back out and I can get out there and do my thing.
Amen to that. Let's start with the two games tonight here real quick. Who wins, Cleveland or Orlando? Game 6 in Orlando, Cleveland up 3-2.
I'm hoping. Look, I'm not gonna say what I think. I'm gonna say what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it goes 7. I'm hoping that's a 7. I'm gonna say Cleveland in that one. I'm hoping it goes 7. I think there needs to be a 7 first round, and I think that's the best one because I think the fans need to put their eyes on that team, both of those teams, because they've got some up and coming young stars. I mean, a lot of people don't really get to fully see Donovan Mitchell. Mm-hmm. A lot of people may not understand the 70s brand of Jared Allen. They may not understand the style of his game. I love
Mobley.
Isn't Karis LeVert on it? No.
Yeah, Karis is on there.
LeVert. I mean, he's a nice little 3-and-D guy. Doesn't get really much recognition, and then obviously Banchero and that young group. Suggs and that young group down there, the Wagner brothers down in Orlando. I just hope that they just both can just raise their level of interest in just watching this in a game 7.
Yeah, need a game 7 there. Orlando's got to win to force it back to Cleveland for a game 7. The other game 6 tonight, Dallas and the Clippers. Really curious to see what happens to the Clippers if Dallas gets it done tonight. And Strick, I think that's most likely. I think Dallas has figured something out. Even on the road, I like the Mavs tonight.
Again, no show Friday. Is it going to happen? when I say that, you've got guys that normally in the big ones is a no-show. We saw that in the last game. Your boy, Paul George,
Yes, he is
Paul
my boy.
George.
I'll wear that one. Yep.
He disappeared once again. Then
Playoff
you
Pete.
have playoff Pete. Playoff Pete G. And he disappeared. Then you don't know which Harden's gonna show up. If it's the Santa Claus Harden, or if it's the OKC get loose Harden, or Houston Harden. You don't know which one's gonna show up. I can tell you this: Tyronn Lue's going to coach a team. He's going to have them prepared. He's going to have them ready. It's just going to be up to the players to do what they need to do to get back in it. I think they poked the bear in Luka Doncic. He was frustrated. He was upset. And if him and Kyrie get it going, it was Dunk City, Lob City. If they get it going again, trouble. Close your mouth. Don't say nothing.
Let's pause 10 quick seconds for station ID here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
No Jay Foreman. Today he is on the road traveling. He'll be back, so that's why it's still Strick and I, no crossover. All right, Stricky, this was before my time. I need you to fill me in. Pacers-Knicks rivalry. How heated is it? How big a deal is it that we get these two teams in the Eastern Conference semis?
I mean, it goes back. It's classic. Reggie Miller. The conversations and the talks they used to have with Spike Lee on the side. The Davis brothers banging and battling with Oakley and even LJ and Ewing. There was some battles, some fights and scraps, and Jalen Rose was even there at one time. It was tremendous. Mark Jackson, with his little shimmy, sham, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yay. Mark Jackson was even there. New York boy coming home. It was a tremendous rivalry. It goes back. Obviously the Garden is the Garden, but boy, it used to play back in Market Square Arena back then, which was right there in the heart, dark, old. Just a nice little old facility that they used to get it in before they moved. And yeah, man, it was a good little rivalry. Listen, there was a nice cycle in the East of rivalries before the shift went west. And you were looking at Indy was vying for top dog, even when the Malice in the Palace happened. They were vying for top dog. So it's always been a pretty solid organization. They've done a pretty good job, kind of fell off for a little while. Then you had, like I said, Detroit, New York, Chicago, Miami popped up in there for a hot minute. Even Charlotte was given a little run here and there. Orlando had their little 2-year stint when they had, Dennis Scott, 3D, Dennis Scott, Shaq, and Penny, so the East was one to have a nice cycle, but that rivalry was definitely a tough
one. Wasn't it John Starks that headbutted Reggie Miller too?
Yeah, you had all of that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of those rivalries, which one do you miss the most?
I would say Chicago, Detroit.
Ooh, like early MJ when he couldn't get past Isaiah and the Bad Boys, that kind of era. That's what you're thinking?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I even forgot about Boston.
Right.
Dang, Boston and Philly. Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, the East is
Cleveland had a run, right?
Yeah, I will say, I'm telling you, for some reason, even though it didn't have the power like the West did, they have the rivalries, and that's why the fan bases are so adamant. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I think I almost went in the stands one time because the rivalry between, us and Detroit at the time. This was even in the midst of Detroit's, runs with Chauncey Billups and that crew. We was beating the brakes off of them, and then, man, pour beer on me. That's how crazy it was, man. It was all kinds of. I'm almost Yeah, the Malice of the Palace almost happened a few years early in Boston. I almost went up in there and it was about to jump off. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess it wasn't a Kevin Meyer selection that was poured on you.
No, man, it was that cheap Budweiser type. It wasn't that good lager that Kevin Meyer got. It was that garbage, that cheap stuff. Yeah.
See, that's just
so it
disrespectful.
stunk. Stayed all in my jersey. I had to get a whole new jersey because it was stinking.
That's just disrespectful. At least pour the good stuff on the man. Last thing for you then, Lakers Celtics. I know it's a rivalry, but man, Strick, they play twice a year, and I feel like this is more an organizational rivalry, right? I feel like that one's kind of fallen away since 2010. Do you think the Lakers' next coach can get the Lakers back up to Boston's level and we get a Lakers Celtics finals in the next 5 years?
Oh, I'm not going to say that that's the case because I just don't know outside of maybe Tyronn Lue and how you can pull him away. I think it's possible, but I just don't think you have enough to give away. Like the Clippers would be stupid to do that.
Right.
You're already the Cinderella stepchild, you know. You're already the one that gets smacked and the one that's cleaning the floors. No, man, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I'm with you. Stricky, thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you all week. Hope your crown and whatever gets to feeling better and stays feeling better. Enjoy your sipping weekend. I hope the sun comes out for you. Talk to you Monday, my friend.
No doubt, man. Love. See you then.
For Strick, I'm Austin. Big thanks to Nebco. Big thanks to Good Sense. Big thanks to Sartor Heyman. Big thanks to Aloe for all their help here during On the Block and all our shows on 93.7 The Ticket. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming back with you for the next couple hours on Old School. Still lots to get to. Need your help, though. Let's fire things up with the text bag. What's on your mind heading into the weekend? Let me know. 402-464-5685. Whatever it is you want to talk about, that will take precedence. For Strick, I'm Austin. Don't go anywhere. This has been On the Block. Old School comes your way here in just a few minutes on 93.7 The Ticket.
Spring in Nebraska